Have you ever stopped to really listen to what your heart is trying to tell you? Or are you still letting logic run the show? In today's world, where reason and analysis dominate every part of our lives, we've slowly lost touch with one of the most powerful sources of wisdom we possess, our own hearts. From a young age, we're taught that success comes from making cold, calculated decisions. But Carl Jung uncovered a much deeper truth in his decades of exploring the human psyche. While we navigate life relying solely on facts and rational thinking, there's a quieter voice deep within us that never stops whispering. That voice, the one that comes from the deepest core of who we are, often gets dismissed. But Jung understood that it isn't just fleeting emotion. It's the voice of our higher self, the compass that points us toward authenticity. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, staring into your own eyes. Behind that gaze lies a vast universe of wisdom waiting to be discovered. It's a source of knowing more powerful than any book or external advice could ever offer. What's fascinating is that this inner wisdom, this intelligence of the heart, doesn't work like regular logic. It doesn't come in formulas or neat, structured arguments. Instead, it shows up as a deep feeling, an unexplainable certainty that, despite the lack of words, we just know to be true. When we begin to pay attention to this inner voice, when we tune in to the frequency of the heart, we realize that there's a whole other kind of intelligence operating inside us. This intelligence doesn't just process what we think. It blends what we feel, what we intuit, and what we somehow know without explanation. It goes far beyond ordinary understanding. And in this journey we're on together, we're going to explore why listening to your heart isn't just a romantic cliche or a self-help catchphrase. Jung found that it's actually the first and most essential step toward discovering your personal truth. And when I say personal truth, I don't mean a fleeting opinion or vague belief. I'm talking about a truth so real that when you finally connect with it, every cell in your body lights up in recognition. This truth may not always make sense on paper, but it brings a peace and clarity no rational argument could ever match. As Jung wisely taught, the heart isn't just a physical organ. It's a center of emotional and spiritual intelligence, a direct link to our unconscious and the ancestral wisdom of humanity. And this connection isn't just poetic or philosophical. Modern science is now catching up to what ancient mystics always knew. The heart has its own nervous system and can process information independently from the brain. It's as if we have a second brain, one that operates on a different frequency, but is just as powerful. So when we talk about listening to the heart, we're really talking about activating an inborn intelligence we all possess. It's like tuning into a radio station. Once you find the right frequency, everything becomes clear. That clarity allows us to tap into knowledge that our rational minds can't reach. Jung discovered that this inner listening is essential to individuation, the path of becoming who we were truly meant to be. But this path requires courage. Why? Because the heart often leads us in directions that don't follow what society or our logical minds think is right. Picture your heart as a doorway to a deeper version of yourself. Every heartbeat is an invitation to go further inward. And when you finally start hearing that internal rhythm, you begin noticing patterns, synchronicities, and signs you used to overlook. Intuition, that knowing that seems to come out of nowhere, is one of the heart's most powerful ways of communicating with us. That it's no coincidence that so many people, when reflecting on important life decisions, say, "I should have listened to my heart." That inner wisdom often sees beyond appearances. It knows what will truly help us grow. The heart is like an inner compass that always points to our true north. Even when the mind is tangled up in confusion or endless pros and cons, this inner guidance becomes especially precious in today's world, where the flood of information and outside pressure can pull us off course in seconds. The heart becomes an anchor, a constant, quiet force that helps us stay grounded even in life's biggest storms. Think about how many times you've felt that uneasy sensation in your chest, that quiet nudge warning you about a situation or decision, but you pushed it aside because something else seemed more logical or practical. And how often, months or even years later, have you looked back and thought, my heart was right all along? This pattern of ignoring our inner wisdom is no accident. We live in a society that teaches us to distrust our feelings from an early age. We're conditioned to believe emotions are obstacles to success, that intuition is unreliable, and that the only valid path is one backed by data and logic. This disconnection from our inner knowing runs deep. Our traditional education system barely touches emotional intelligence or inner exploration. Instead, it focuses on analytical thinking and memorizing facts. The result? We end up with people who may be brilliant in logic but feel deeply lost when it comes to themselves. Jung saw this not as just a personal issue, it's a collective crisis. That's why anxiety, depression, and the widespread feeling of emptiness are so common today. Ironically, the more we try to control life through logic alone, the further we drift from the real answers. It's like trying to explain love using only biology. You can describe the hormones, but completely miss the essence. This distrust of the heart also shows up in our careers and relationships. How many people stay stuck in jobs they hate or relationships that drain them, just because those choices look right on paper? That inner voice pleading for change gets silenced by arguments about safety, stability, or what's expected of us. That we've been so deeply conditioned that many of us can't even tell the difference between our heart's true voice and the fears programmed into us by society. And when someone finally does try to listen to their heart, they often mistake their fears or anxieties for intuition. Jung warned that this disconnection from the heart affects more than individuals. It shapes entire cultures. When large groups of people live out of alignment with their truth, we create societies built on inauthenticity and surface-level living. Listening to the heart is a powerful act of transformation, but it's not without its challenges. Jung explained that this path forces us to confront our deepest fears and hidden parts, the shadow self we'd rather ignore. When we begin to follow the heart, we often stand at a crossroads between the familiar and the unknown. The familiar may be uncomfortable, but it feels safe. The heart, on the other hand, might pull us towards something that seems uncertain or risky. And that gets even harder when our heart's call goes against the expectations of family, friends, or society. Imagine feeling a deep inner urge to leave a stable job and a perfect relationship or move to an entirely new place. The resistance you'll meet in those moments can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth. The heart's guidance is both freeing and confronting. It shines a light not just on where we're going, but also on the parts of ourselves we've been avoiding. And yes, that can feel deeply uncomfortable. But Jung taught that this discomfort isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that real growth is happening. It's through these challenges that we begin to transform for real, not just on the outside, but at the core of who we are. One of the hardest parts of following the heart is the loneliness that often comes with it. When you start living in alignment with your inner truth, people around you might not understand. You might feel isolated, but that solitude has purpose. It creates a space of stillness where your connection with your heart becomes clearer and stronger. It's as if life gives you silence so you can finally hear what's been there all along. The fear of failure or regret is another major obstacle. Our logical mind craves guarantees, but the heart rarely gives them. Instead, it invites us into a more organic, unfolding process. Learning to listen to the heart starts with small but meaningful steps. Jung reminded us that inner transformation takes time, patience, and, most importantly, compassion for ourselves. The first step is creating space for silence in our daily lives. In the noise of modern life, Even 5 quiet minutes a day can be the start of something life-changing. In those moments of quiet, a simple question may arise. What is my heart trying to tell me right now? That question can spark an inner dialogue that gets clearer over time. It's like learning a new language. At first, it's confusing, but eventually, it becomes natural. Practicing mindfulness is essential. Paying attention to how we emotionally respond to situations, without judgment, helps us uncover what we truly need and want. Every emotion, even the uncomfortable ones, carries an important message from the heart. Jung also emphasized documenting the inner journey. Keeping a journal to record dreams, feelings, and insights helps reveal patterns over time. It's like drawing a map of your inner landscape, where each note helps you understand your heart's language. As we progress on this path, subtle but powerful changes begin to unfold. Decisions that once felt overwhelming start to feel clearer. We begin to trust our own guidance more than outside opinions. This is what reclaiming your inner authority looks like. A big part of this journey is learning to tell the difference between your heart's authentic voice and fear disguised as intuition. The heart's voice, even when leading into the unknown, brings a sense of peace and expansion. Fear, in contrast, tightens and limits us. As we become more honest with ourselves, our relationships naturally shift. Some will evolve, others may fade, but new, aligned connections will emerge in their place. Build a stronger connection with your heart. It's important to have daily practices. Jung taught that inner change requires active commitment. Point 1 essential practice is heart-centered meditation. Spend just 5 minutes each morning sitting in silence, focusing on the area of your heart. Feel its rhythm, its warmth, its energy. This simple practice lays the foundation for deepening your connection with your inner wisdom. Another powerful tool is reflective journaling. At the end of each day, write about moments that triggered strong emotions. Ask yourself, what was this feeling trying to show me? What does my heart feel about this? This kind of writing builds a bridge between your conscious mind and the wisdom of your heart. You can also try intentional inner dialogue. When facing a big decision, sit quietly and ask, which path resonates with my heart? Pay attention to physical sensations, emotions, and subtle cues. The heart often answers through a feeling of expansion or a sense of tightness. Jung also encouraged paying close attention to your dreams. Keep a notebook by your bed and write them down the moment you wake up. Dreams often carry direct messages from the unconscious, and the heart's wisdom lives there too. Spending time in nature is another way to reconnect with your heart. Go on walks. Observe the natural rhythms of the world around you. Nature reflects your own inner cycles and helps realign you with your center. Another useful practice is reviewing your day before bed. Reflect on the moments when you followed or ignored your heart. This builds awareness and strengthens your connection to your inner guidance. And finally, you can use conscious breathing to reconnect with your heart at any time. When you feel lost or overwhelmed, take 3 deep breaths and place your focus on the area around your heart. This simple habit can instantly bring you back to your center. True transformation begins when we start bringing the heart's guidance into everyday life. Jung called this integration, the merging of mind and heart into a state of inner wholeness. When you act on your heart's guidance, it feels like everything inside you is finally moving in the same direction. This inner coherence shows up as mental clarity, emotional stability, and a strong sense of purpose. You no longer feel torn between logic and feeling, because now they're working together and the benefits ripple out into every part of your life. At work, you may notice more creativity and better problem solving. That's because heart wisdom taps into something deeper than linear thinking. In relationships, you'll show up with more honesty and vulnerability. No more pretending, no more masks. This realness attracts the right people and creates deeper bonds. But integration also means being able to access your heart's wisdom even in hard times. With practice, you'll learn to tune into your center not just when things are calm, but especially when things feel uncertain, that you'll also start to relate to time differently. Instead of rushing through life, you'll begin to trust its natural rhythm. Even painful experiences start to feel meaningful because you can see how they're helping you grow. Jung taught that integration is never a final destination. It's a lifelong journey. Every time you choose to act from the heart, you strengthen that connection, and you grow a little more into who you truly are. And as this shift happens, your outer world starts to change too. Jung called these changes synchronicities, those magical, perfectly timed moments that confirm you're on the right path. You might meet someone unexpectedly, hear just the right words at just the right time, or receive an opportunity out of the blue. These aren't coincidences. They're reflections of the inner work you're doing, that you'll notice the spaces you occupy, the activities you choose, and the people you're drawn to all begin to match your new frequency. Your creativity flows more naturally. Obstacles don't disappear, but they become easier to navigate. Even your energy changes. People around you might say you seem lighter, more radiant. Even if they can't quite explain why, you become a magnet for those on a similar journey of self-discovery. And when life gets hard, you'll face those challenges with more grace and insight. Problems become invitations to grow, not threats to avoid. Listening to your heart isn't just a personal development practice. As Jung taught, it's the path to your true authenticity and fulfillment. Throughout this journey together, we've explored the depth and transformative power of heart wisdom. Living from the heart doesn't mean abandoning logic. It means integrating it, so your mind and soul can finally work as one. That the real strength isn't in controlling or suppressing your emotions. It's in honoring them as guides to your deepest truth. Every time you choose to listen to your heart, you reinforce that inner compass that always points you toward your highest path. And here's what the heart teaches us. You don't need all the answers right now. Sometimes just pausing and asking, "What does my heart say?" is enough to open a whole new path. Jung reminded us that this journey to our inner truth is unique for everyone. There's no one-size-fits-all map. There are only the steps you take, one by one, into the life your soul came here to live. The transformation that happens when you live from the heart is real and lasting. It doesn't just change how you think. It changes how you love, how you choose, how you show up in the world. Let's remember, this isn't about racing toward a finish line. It's about becoming more you, every single day. Let me ask you, when was the last time you truly stopped to hear what your heart was trying to say? What truths have you been ignoring, choosing comfort or convenience instead? If something in this message resonated with you, then maybe it's time to take the first step on this journey. You don't need to change everything all at once. Start small. Begin with one moment a day where you turn inward and truly listen. This community we're building together is a safe space to explore, grow, and share. By subscribing to this channel, you're joining a circle of people who are learning to live more honestly, more deeply, and more in tune with themselves. Your voice matters here. Share in the comments. What has your heart been telling you lately? What have you discovered on your own journey of self-connection? Your reflections may be exactly what someone else needs to read. The wisdom we explored today is just the beginning. In upcoming videos, we'll go deeper into this inner path, uncovering new tools and exploring more ways to live from the heart. If you know someone who needs to hear this, please share this video. Sometimes a message arrives at the perfect moment and changes everything. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss the next episode. Each week, we'll explore new aspects of personal and spiritual growth, always from a deep, transformative perspective. As Jung said, the heart holds the seed of your highest destiny. When you learn to listen to it, you don't just change your life, You become part of a wave of healing for the entire collective, because every person who dares to live from their truth makes it a little easier for the next. So, I leave you with this thought. Your heart is not just a compass. It's the doorway to the extraordinary life you were born to live. The question is, are you ready to take that first step? If something in your heart stirred while watching this, don't ignore it. That's your soul recognizing the truth it's been waiting for. Carl Jung believed that the moment you begin listening to your heart, you stop being a stranger to yourself and start becoming whole. So, if this message spoke to you, imagine how many others are still in the dark, waiting for a light like this. Subscribe for more truths that awaken, heal, and transform. Share this video with someone who needs to remember who they are, because the world changes, one awakened heart at a time.